Previously on Did I Get What I Paid For?
Thanksgiving is a time for joy, family, food, and fun. We wouldn't make him watch something horrible for the occasion.
Yeah, we'll save that for Christmas.
What?
Kidding. Maybe.
Hey, I'm Jess Willie. I'm a TV and media critic who occasionally branches out to other stuff. I've got some pretty cool friends. A little strange, maybe, but cool. There's Nick, an AI copy of a buddy of mine from college that I installed on my smart TV. He's supposed to keep the show on track, but he spends more time watching Brazilian cooking shows. There's King Ralph Detritus, an old toy from my childhood who is somehow alive, and he rules a massive underground kingdom from a stronghold in my basement. There's Xylagathia P. Robinson. She's a magical winter elf who started out as an observer from the International Internet Reviewers Guild, but she sorta went native. So if you want to know the story, go and watch the back catalog. If you're just interested in a review of the thing you clicked on, sit back, relax, and don't ask questions. Or if you have questions, leave them in the comments. Maybe I'll answer. The only question you can be sure I'm gonna answer is, did I get what I paid for? Wait, I thought we did a Christmas episode this year. We did, but it was so short, we thought we'd do another one.
And we found something Christmassy that is just perfect.
Yeah, Jess, I would not trust them.
Why not?
I don't know. Call it either a bad feeling or maybe I've been spying on Ralph's internet search history. I think the second Christmas special might have something to do with Hanna-Barbera.
Come on. Hanna-Barbera made lots of Christmas specials. You have nothing to worry about.
And the best part is we found something that's a callback to a previous episode. What a relief. Doing something off the scoreboard always takes a load off my mind.
I think you're going to love what we picked out.
Ooh, let me make a few guesses. Back in season 1, I reviewed Flintstone Christmas Carol. So I bet you guys want me to watch Jetsons season 2, episode 41, The Jetsons Christmas Carol. No. Well, in season 2, I did an episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Are we gonna do one of their, what is it now, 5 or 6 Christmas-related adventures? Nope. Guess again. Well, I watched Yogi's All-Star Comedy Christmas Caper. I know, we're doing the prequel! Yogi's First Christmas, which can't actually be his first Christmas because Yogi was in Casper's First Christmas the year before, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Nope.
Hold on, guys. I know where this is headed. And no, I like tormenting Jess as much as the next guy, but my programming prevents me from causing him permanent psychological damage.
What are you talking about?
They want you to watch, and I need someone to put in that dun-dun noise from Law & Order here. The Flintstones, Season 5, Episode 15.
No. Not.
Christmas Flintstone.
Another Flintstones episode. No. Fine. Our story begins with Fred and Barney going to the mall to go Christmas shopping. Barney says, "Don't you love Christmas? It's a time of peace and goodwill towards your fellow men." Fred says, "Yup, it's my favorite time of the year." Then this guy pulls out in front of them and Fred shouts, Go f yourself. Barney says, "Hey Fred, what happened to peace and goodwill towards your fellow man?" Fred says, "Come on, Barn, you know that doesn't apply to jaywalkers." Barney says, "Oh yeah, I forgot." Barney goes on and on about how great the gifts he's going to get everyone are. He's going to get all but one of them tonight because he wants Fred's present to be a surprise. Fred says, "Aw man, I wish I could afford to get my family nice things." Hey, wait a minute. There's a part-time help wanted sign. I could get a second job. Fred fills out the application. The guy takes one look at him and says, "You're perfect. Come back tomorrow night." Fred shouts, "Yabba dabba doo!" As they're racing home, Barney asks, "So, what do you do?" Fred says, I forgot to ask. I guess I'll find out tomorrow." Wilma takes the news that Fred has gotten a second job rather well. Or as well as can be expected considering he made the decision unilaterally and her social schedule is screwed because of all the extra child care she's going to have to do.
In other words, she hates the idea.
They start Fred off wrapping presents. Look, a few years ago, I made a video on how to do this. You got to see things done the Jess way, as well as the methods used by a former professional for Hallmark. Say what you will about my talents, at least I'm not Fred. It took him half an hour to wrap one present. I might not be able to wrap gifts worth shit, but I'm fast. I could have done my entire load for the year in that amount of time. So they give him one of my old jobs at a department store, hauling old merchandise down to storage. Only when he makes a pit stop by the toy department, he can't resist giving some curious kids a demonstration. This gets him in trouble with his boss. He says, "Flintstone, once you haul those boxes down to the basement, you're fired." Mr. Macy Rock is already pissed off, and then his secretary chooses the worst possible moment to utter the words, "Sir, we have a problem." He says, "No, I just fired him." She says, "No, the night shift Santa has the flu. The parents are so angry they're heading to the other mall across town. It's too bad we don't have a childlike buffoon of a man who seems to know everything about toys." Which is right when Fred manages to claw his way out of the elevator shaft. Macy Rock says, "Fred, about being fired. I was only kidding. I'm going to give you a big, important job. Do you think you can handle it?" Before Fred can mutter anything, Macy Rock has him in a Santa suit. Fred says, "Why me? I'm not overweight." Macy Rock says, "Are you kidding? You look like an early 90s John Goodman. Now get out there!" Fred goes out to greet the kids. He really earns his $15 an hour by singing an original improv Christmas carol and,
Yeah, he's not exactly Wayne Brady.
hey, it gets the crowd back. That's all that matters, right? After all the kids have given Santa their lists and gotten their pictures taken, it's still not closing time. Fred decides to entertain them for a bit by reading them his own self-published kids book. It's about the real star of the Flintstones.
Wilma.
Bam Bam?
Barney?
No, Dino the dinosaur. This cute little story within a story is clearly padding for an episode that, even with a meandering plot, was running a little short. Anyway, as Fred is clocking out, Mr. Macy Rock says, "You know, you are the best mall Santa we've ever had. Much better than that Homer Simpson guy we got last year. See you tomorrow, Fred." Fred gets home. Dino and Wilma are really confused when they see Santa Claus coming into the house. Poor Dino hides in terror. Wilma starts cleaning the house instead of, looking for her gun so she can blow away the intruder. Then she realizes it's Fred and really wishes she could find the gun. The Rubbles come over to see how Fred's first day on the job went. Barney takes one look at him and can't stop ribbing him. Okay, one or two jokes, that's to be expected, but Barney's being a real dick about it. Then again, considering how Fred treats Barney sometimes, maybe that's justified. On Christmas Eve, Wilma calls Betty. She says, "You better turn on your TV, Santa's gonna be on." Betty says, "For the last time, I'm not watching the Film Geeks Christmas Countdown with you." "Oh, wait. You mean Fred." Wilma says, "I want Pebbles to think it's the real Santa. She's over in the other room watching with Dino." Betty says, "Fine, Bam Bam and I will be right over." This event at the shopping mall is huge. We're talking Super Bowl level big. They spent the money to get the announcer from Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics to host. He asks Santa one simple question: "How do you account for your popularity?" Fred says, "Bribery." Now if you'll excuse me, I have a sleigh to catch. Fred goes to his dressing room. He's exhausted and passes out. These two Keebler employees wake him up. He says, what? The younger one says, "You're needed in the North Pole." Fred says, "I think you have me confused with someone else." The older one says, "Sadly, we don't. If you want there to be a Christmas, come with us." They take him out to the parking lot and shove him onto the sled. At first, he thinks he's being punked until the sleigh takes off. Then he starts freaking out. His mind is totally blown. I don't know if it's the shock of Santa being real, or the realization of where they must be headed. Yup, they're off to see Santa, only he's not feeling so good. He says the world needs you, Fred. Fred asks, "Why? I thought Christmas was your thing." St. Nick says, "I've got a nasty cold. The doctors say it could become pneumonia if I'm not careful. You are the only fully vaccinated mall Santa in the entire world." Fred says, "But I don't know how to be Santa." Santa says, "Bullshit. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. I know if you've been bad or good, and all that tells me is that there is no one who is better suited to fill my shoes." Fred and the elves take off. He says, "I've been meaning to ask, how do we deliver toys all over the world in one night?" The elves say, "Well, we only deliver to kids. And at 300,000 BCE, there are only about 30,000 kids. Well, 30,000 proto-human kids. The Neanderthals and the Denisovans have their own Santa." Fred asks, "Are you sure we have enough toys?" They whine, "Yeah, and we made it simple. You don't even have to use the chimney. Just dump the toys out of the sack." The art design team is lazy. They didn't want to design new toys for each delivery. So Fred delivered the same 30 toys over and over and over and over and over again. Plus, Because Hanna-Barbera wanted to make money coming and going from this special, half of it is Flintstones merchandise, including Pebble's Flintstone dolls. Poor kid. Can you imagine how weird it would be to get a doll of yourself? Fred sings his stupid song again and the elves drop him off. He says, "Wait! My family's presents were still in there!" But it's too late. They're gone. He goes inside and says, "Wilma, something horrible just happened." She says, "You were wonderful, Fred. The kids didn't even know it was you. But your immune system must rival Wolverine because your cold is gone." Fred says, "Cold? Wait, hold on a minute." He runs outside. He sees the sleigh flying away and he hears Santa sneeze. He whispers, "Thanks, big guy." Then we get one of those corny "Merry Christmas, audience" from your favorite TV characters moments. And that's it. That's the episode. Look, I know these callback episodes are supposed to be about nostalgia. You want to see me have the same sort of meltdown I had when I watched Flintstones' Christmas Carol, or Yogi's All-Star Comedy Christmas Caper, or the tier list. But the truth is, I think I've done every variation on the paradox of the Flintstones celebrating Christmas that I can think of. And that pisses me off more than there being Flintstone Christmas specials.
Jess, hold on to that anger, because we have a few more years of this to go.
Really? How many more Christmas specials can there be?
1 regular episode, 2 guest appearances in other people's Christmas specials, 2 TV specials, 1 Christmas movie, and at least 2 cereal commercials.
What?
Don't worry, you've already done 3 of them.
Are you counting all the Flintstones Christmas comic books and the Hanna-Barbera Christmas records?
Well, what do you think?
Ah. This episode is awful. It feels like William Hanna and Joe Barbera had a Christmas episode cliche wheel, spun it 4 times, and handed the results over to famed cartoon writer Warren Foster, then told them, "Get us a script by Friday." He turned to them and said, "But it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday." They said, "Well, you better get to work." There are elements of a good story here. In fact, there are elements of several. Most of them were already cliche by 1965. Those that weren't were later recycled and done much better. This is one of the first examples of the "something has happened to Santa so our characters have to fix it" trope. Better examples include Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, Christmas Comes to Pac-Land, and that immortal classic Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. The "our hero becomes a mall Santa" thing has been done many times before and since. Some better examples include Mr. Monk and the Secret Santa, the Sliders Christmas episode, and of course the first episode of The Simpsons. Nor is this the first time that these 2 tropes have been combined. There's an episode of The Twilight Zone. I know I've talked about it before because I have wanted to review it for years. It's called Night of the Meek. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it is better than this. What I'm trying to say is, even if this weren't the goddamn Flintstones, This cartoon is bad. Okay, it's not the worst Christmas thing you could watch. Cough, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, cough. But it's not exactly up there with Scrooged. Hey, since you two made me watch this, does that count as my supervillain for the season?
Nobody was in danger apart from you, so no.
Damn. But just so you know, you two are on the naughty list. What did Mr. Hedgehog do to deserve that? No like and subscribe, no like and subscribe, no like and subscribe. Well, in that case, he should go to patreon.com/